Nick Sanchez, Carson Hocevar on the front row. Green flag is in the air. We are racing at Homestead-Miami.
Look at Zane jump to the inside of Dean Thompson.
Wow, great start for Zane. He knows where he's got to go, and he's not wasting any time getting there. Kind of wild, wasn't it? Bumping and banging, shoving. You're going to see that amplify more and more as this race goes on.
I love the starts, restarts at this racetrack. They just fan out top to bottom, but the top, there we go. You see the 98 to the top early. Ty Majeski, last year's winner.
Much of the conversation in the garage area was that Ty Majeski, Carson Hocevar had two of the best trucks, along with Zane Smith and Grant Enfinger in practice.
Well, name a few more, Phil.
Well, that's only four. I could name about five more, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to take Christian Eckes up on the high side there, running in the 4th position. You can see Grant trying to make some ground down on the bottom, but the draft just pulls those guys along on the top side.
Grant Enfinger on the bottom there, and Corey Heim making use of that top side in the 11 truck. What a nice day to be Corey Heim. Just sit back, feet up, knowing that you are locked in.
37 days he's known that he was locked into Phoenix.
Very impressive for that young man in his first full-time season. Just announced this week he will be back with Tricon Garage in 2024, so he's got that to look forward to as well.
See Zane Smith sliding into the right side of our screen.
Almost 3 wide for a moment, it looked like. Corey Heim's going to be able to make that pass.
Wow, what a battle.
Strong early for Corey Heim.
You knew he was going to be strong.
Totally. It's amazing. 14 top 10 finishes in a row coming into this race. The youngest driver ever have that long of a streak.
I talked about Zane there and that 38 behind him. 52 Stuart Friesen had a big crash at Talladega. Fractured a vertebrae in his
vicious hit.
And went dirt racing this week. I talked to him earlier today. He said what you said, Phil. He said, I love long runs at Miami Homestead because I'm able to run right out next to the wall. I can slip and slide. I talk about he's a dirt racer. That's basically what this place feels like, is racing on dirt at times.
Stuart Friesen is tough as nails. We always knew it was true, but he went to the hospital, broke his back, and he was back in a car that following week just to test things out. Here he is racing. Great qualifying effort for him. Now on the flip side of that, Greg Van Alst also broke his back at Talladega. He's out 12 weeks, broken tailbone. So we're thinking of him and hope he rests up and heals up quickly, as we got a nice battle for the lead right now. The 11 Corey Heim all over the back of Nick Sanchez.
This 11 truck, the last couple of laps, by far the fastest truck on the track, and just tracked right on the back of Nick Sanchez, and now around the outside.
Michael, you talked about the top of the racetrack coming in. I think you can make the bottom work, maybe either end for a few laps as the tires are fresh, as we see Zane trying to make the move around Enfinger in the battle for 6th. But I think the longer we go, that's when the top is really going to show up.
Well, you know what also, Phil, a good thing to watch here, as you said, the top being dominant. When you can make a move like Zane did there and clear a guy and not lose your momentum, that shows you he's got a really good handling truck. He would rather be up top where you see him go here, but he knows the truck will work on the bottom if it has to.
And you have to pass them where they ain't.
That's right.
I love this view on board with Grant Enfinger. You can see the leaders up there dicing it out side by side. Nick Sanchez trying to retake that lead from Corey Heim. You see that white truck has a nice lead right now.
Now, if you can wrap that white line like you see Zane doing there, that's how you make the progress down there. You slip up off that white line just a half a truck length, and you'll lose the nose of the truck. That was a textbook pass there for Zane into the top 5 for him.
You saw Christian had the momentum because he came from the high side. He's tried to get back to the inside.
Let's get an update from Josh on Ben Rhodes.
Yeah, and I had a chance to talk to Ben Rhodes before this race, and he knew what was at stake. He knew he needs a good race if he wants any shot of advancing. So the team brought a different setup than they did last year, a different truck, and he hoped that would make a difference, but he made a mistake during qualifying, very down on himself heading into this race. So he came over the radio just a few minutes ago, said the truck is way too loose on the bottom, way too loose on the top, so he's hanging on right now, guys.
Certainly aren't getting any better for Ben Rhodes, shown right now in the 22nd position.
And Josh said it, he's hanging on. That truck looked like a handful. Talked to crew chief Rich Lucius earlier today, and he felt confident about the changes they had made and how they were going to be able to run, but it's been a struggle earlier. Here's the thing you need to watch, Phil. Late in the going, saving that last set of tires. Sometimes you got to have a Hail Mary in your pocket in order to be able to do something special. This truck obviously is struggling. We'll have to keep our eye on how they play out the end of this race.
Right now, he is about a second off the pace of what the leaders are running.
You see in the pylon all the yellow. Those are all playoff drivers. Corey Heim, he's locked in. Stay with us. We're racing at Homestead. Welcome back to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series racing from Homestead-Miami. As you see, Corey Heim continues to lead. Ty Majeski, Carson Hocevar, Zane Smith, and Nick Sanchez round out the top 5. Let's get an update. Here's Regan.
Well, Jamie, you see Corey Heim out leading right now. Told me earlier today he thought he had a long-run truck, so you saw that truck in the lead very early on in the race. Now driving away. This is exactly what he expected. Maybe not to get the lead quite that quick. Got to be good for this team, though, doing that. And when you think about what he's racing for today, don't forget that he is also racing for a pit pick. When we get to Phoenix, the playoff drivers will pick 1 through 4 and get in their pit stalls. And that first pit stall at Phoenix, very important. The matrix system is heavily weighted by their performance here at Homestead today.
Well, going into the race, Christian Eckes entered +9 into 3rd position. And when I talked to him about his truck, he said, hey, we just weren't good enough in practice. And for him, he said, we have a top 10 truck. But he said, a 10th place truck, that's not good enough for what I need to make it through to the next round. Well, over the radio, he came through just a little bit ago and said, hey, we're getting killed in 1 and 2. We need to figure something else out.
So Christian Eckes sounds like he's got his hands full. And we've got a whole gaggle of trucks right here. You see the 02, that's Brad. We call him Brad Perez.
Man, he's a great story. A kid from Florida that just has worked his way up to this position. Remember when he was on pit road at COTA last year, Phil? We talked to him. He said, I don't think you're looking for me, Mike. Well, he's got space beans on his truck, and he's driving that thing like it's from another planet. Really good charge early, up from his 18th starting position. So Brad's just doing a really nice job.
Good look at Bailey Curry. Bailey was in the 41 truck. There's Jack Wood in the 51 truck for KBM.
This is where the action is, Phil. These guys have really been mixing up. Look at that pack of trucks.
The tail end of that pack is a 25 of Trevor Bayne. Trevor was not able to make a qualifying lap in that Rackley roofing truck because he had a severe vibration. Watch this just a couple laps ago here, bottom of your screen.
Whoa. That is tight racing. Taylor Gray looked like he had the thought of diving to the bottom to make them 4 wide. Look at this. Dean, you can watch him work this wheel, looking in his mirror because all that traffic coming down on it. Look at that. How about doing 2 things at once? How about, it looks like about 10 things at once.
That's all back there from 13th to 17th. There's some action. Well, Phil, you just mentioned that Trevor Bayne, who's usually in the booth with us for the ARCA series, doing race day every week, he got a call to jump in this truck, and he said yesterday he had high hopes, wanted to get in with this new team, and he said it was just a disaster. They had a fire, they had the vibration, they broke a shock, so they had to change out all kinds of things, including the transmission, so he didn't get a chance to qualify.
And he only got 2 laps of practice in that truck, but he's really doing a nice job. It's made his way all the way up into the top 20.
Yeah, he's the biggest mover in this race, driven right up through the field.
How's your water temp? 245. 240 is where it starts losing power, but we should just stay at 245. We should be fine to make it to the stage.
There's a piece of debris there on the lower right side of that grill, I think, Phil, and that's what's causing the temperature to go up. So they think the thing at 245 is okay, as you can see the debris there. If it gets any hotter than that, he will probably have to slide up and let Zane, let the guy behind him go around and be able to use the air to get that off there.
Yeah, these engines are fuel injected, and they will detune when they get too hot. They know that they're getting too hot, and they will detune. So that's what they're talking about right now. They want to get to the end of the stage. They really don't want to back off and let Grant Enfinger around him even to get that piece of debris off, because that's a point.
That debris almost looks like a water bottle smashed up on the front. Take a closer look at it here.
I think it's just a piece of a tear off that has flown from another truck.
Or even a hot dog wrapper, whatever it is, it's complete. That's blocking about 30% of that grill opening off.
How'd you like my circle?
I like that. That was
perfect.
Pretty good job. Better than normal, actually.
My analysis that it was a water bottle was off.
Well, you know, sometimes you throw one up there and it comes back at you.
Corey Heim continues to lead here. 9 to go in stage 1. Welcome back to the Baptist Health Cancer Care 200. Jamie Little, Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip with you, and Regan Smith and Josh Sims covering all the action from pit road. As Corey Heim continues to lead here, he's now led the most laps today of 20, but there are other stories. Marco Andretti in the Truck Series making just his second ever appearance, but it hasn't been easy for him, right, Josh?
Yeah, Marco had a rough go, but during practice yesterday, had trouble getting that steering wheel to lock into place. As a result, he lost a ton of time during practice. When I talked to him after, he said, hey, the most important thing for me is I need seat time. I want to prove that I can come back and race here next year. And if I can't get comfortable, this is his first time on an oval in a truck. He said, if I can't get comfortable, I can't produce the way I want. So it's been a tough start, at least to the weekend for Marco.
Yeah, and if he looks in the mirror, Josh, it's even going to get a little bit rougher, because right down the front straightaway with Marco is Corey Heim, trying to hang on for a couple of laps and stay on the lead lap, make an adjustment, and keep learning.
Yeah, I think the good news for him is there's a bit of a gap to the truck in front of Marco, which is Daniel Dye. So even if he gets by, Corey Heim gets by Marco and puts him a lap down, I think he will get the free pass and stay on the lead lap. But it would be better if he's could do that without getting the free pass. That way you can pit with everybody else, make some adjustments, and maybe beat some people off pit road.
Well, if you joined us at the start of our show, we talked about these two, Nick Sanchez and the 88 of Matt Crafton. We saw them get together at Talladega, and then it continued into a fight, and Nick Sanchez ended up with a bloody nose. But as Michael reported, they've talked about it, and then Matt apologized.
Yeah. They put that behind them. As I said, that was the goal when they got here. Sanchez racing for a championship. Matt Crafton just racing for a win. He's been strong. He said he would be. Good move early for Matt.
Grant Anfinger trying to make the move around Carson Hocevar late in the going in this stage to try to grab a point. Could he get Zane Smith as well and get 2 points? Ooh, get a little bit sideways though.
Can he hang on? No, Hocevar around the top.
Final lap of stage one. It's all about those points for the top 10. Corey Heim up front. Ty Majeski, Zane Smith, Hocevar, Enfinger. You see them battling it out.
Stuart Friesen says, I don't care about any points. I got to win a race.
How about Hocevar jumps now to the inside of Zane Smith. Can he do a slide job? This is the final corner.
He's going to lose his momentum. Where will Zane go?
Is he going to pull up in front of him? Looks like he has him cleared.
Here's the run.
Not close enough. The 42 gets that extra point, even with those overheating issues. They'll be able to get that debris off now and bring it in, put some fresh tires on, fill them up. But the stage win goes to that man, Corey Heim. He does it once again. He's led 25 laps. His 6th stage win this year, tied for the most. Ty Majeski, some great points for him. We talked about this being a must win. Won this race a year ago. They're all chasing Corey Heim. Best truck so far in stage number 1. Stay with us. We'll have pit stops after this. Oh, it's a huge day of football on Fox as Jared Goff and the Lions take on Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, or the Steelers battle the Rams, or other regional action. Check for the game in your area, and remember, it's only on Fox and the Fox Sports app, and you should see the smile on Phil Parsons' face right now.
How about those Lions?
They're in the promo. They're doing something.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great year.
It's just really surprising, though, isn't it?
Well,
It's been a while, Michael.
yeah, man, my lifetime. It's been my lifetime.
That's what I'm talking about, hanging out on the beach.
Only place you'll see that. That is very impressive. White sand inside the racetrack.
Nice.
Well, stage one is officially in the books. Corey Heim with 10 points all the way down to Chase Purdy, picking up the last point available.
You notice 7 of those drivers highlighted in yellow are playoff drivers. Ben Rhodes is the only one not on that list. Ben did stay on the lead lap, but they have a lot of work to do to try to overcome.
We saw that truck slipping and sliding around. All these trucks are just fighting for grip. And keep your eye on Stuart Friesen. We saw him there with that 6th place finish. I talk about his dirt racing prowess and how much slipping and slide you do here is a lot like dirt racing. Watch to see if Stewart can make an adjustment and climb up and contend for this win.
And we talk about fall off and what these drivers are able to run on fresh tires at the start of the race. Over 3 seconds of fall off. In the last stage, we may even see more than that. Last year, we approached almost 4 seconds of fall off.
You can see the 7 truck, a bright yellow, and we talked about Marco Andretti. He did lose that lap, so but he is in the free pass position, so he will get back on the lead lap and continue learning.
All right, they're all coming your way. Regan.
Well, Jamie, the 38 of Zane Smith, happy so far. Needs the front to work just a little bit better. It's better than it was yesterday in 3 and 4. Wants a little more, and he's losing rear grip too quick with that truck. The 11 of Corey Heim. He's tight on initial throttle. Pretty good, though. That's pretty clear as fast as he's been in the 42 truck of Carson Hocevar. It drives good. It's just lacking power because of the debris that was on their grill. They did get that off, Josh.
For the 98 of Ty Majeski in a near must-win scenario, his biggest complaint is that he can't wrap the front like he wants to on the turn, and he needs grip on the throttle, so they made an adjustment to try and help him out.
Everybody making adjustments. Nobody happy with their truck at this point. Ty Majeski, the good stop. He maintains position. Corey Heim, though, gets it done. And Zane Smith, a good, solid pit stop. That's what they need to do today. Try to win this race. A lot of action still to come. Stage number 2 coming up. Who's it going to be at the end of the day? Championship on the line. Welcome back to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series live from Homestead-Miami Speedway. Such a beautiful day. Had a good stage one. A lot of action and a lot on the line today.
See all those beautiful palm trees? As we take a look at Hailie Deegan's truck, she will be penalized for a tire getting away. We'll take a look at it here. About middle of your screen, a little bit right of middle. Watch that tire just creep away from her. That is what that means, is that tire was not in contact with the tire changer or the tire carrier, and that is going to result in a penalty, and she will have to restart from the back of the pack.
Hailie Deegan coming off a good run at Talladega, and then the big announcement, she's moving up to the Xfinity Series.
So much went on since we last raced. It's
So
been
much
3
news.
weeks, but man, there's been a lot of news. Exciting time for Hailie Deegan to move over to AM Racing for the Xfinity Series full time.
Got word that Corey Heim's going to be back at Tricon racing in the Truck Series again next year.
Good news for us.
I wondered what would happen next, because he's on the path straight to the Cup Series, but he's going to spend another year in the trucks before so.
Well, how about Zane Smith and Carson Hocevar? They're going to be teammates over there in the Cup Series. They're just skipping Xfinity, moving right up to Cup, so we'll be watching them next year. But right now, they're battling for a championship berth here.
And I think part of that is, the Xfinity cars used to be very similar to the Cup cars back in the day, but with the next-gen car, I think the popular consensus in the garage area is that the Xfinity cars are nothing like the Cup cars now. Trucks aren't either, so it's not a natural progression anymore, I think, to move from the Truck Series to the Xfinity Series to get used to those kind of cars. Now they say they can come from Xfinity Series or Truck Series straight to the Cup Series.
Well, Carson Hocevar, you see him right there in 42. He's done an incredible job in the Cup Series, filling in. He'll do it again in 2 weeks at Phoenix. If he has a chance to go for a championship here, he'll also be running over there to the Cup Garage. Look at his season.
Wow. He just really came on the scene last year. We knew he had a lot of talent. He's put it all together. He's been able to tighten up some of his mistakes, race aggressively, but has done a great job.
Just piling up wins and top 5 finishes, top 10 finishes. That's what a championship driver does, and he's certainly one of our contenders.
I feel like he's such a different driver than he was at this point a year ago. He's just learned so much, and quick learner, and this is certainly the furthest he has gone in the championship hunt.
A couple of non-playoff drivers, I think, to keep your eye on. One is Stuart Friesen, as I mentioned a bit ago, and Trevor Bayne. He's just steadily made his way toward the front from starting in the rear. Now finds himself right there on the edge of the top 10.
And Crafton, you mentioned at the top of the show, Matt felt like he had a good long run truck. He's now up in the top 10. You see him restarting in the 8th spot.
Yeah, we saw him run down Nick Sanchez there at the end of that stage. And Matt's one of these drivers that's interesting. You watch, he will just eat that bottom up all the way around the track. He doesn't like running the top side of the racetrack. He enjoys the bottom. He told me earlier today, I want green flag runs, Mike. And I said, well, last year that's all you had was a bunch of green flag runs, so it might work out that way, and it has so far today.
Oh, we're talking about all these playoff drivers running up front. 7 in the top 10 ended stage 1 in the top 10, and you could see on those banners on the front windshields, the ones with the name and the red Craftsman means that they are in the championship hunt. Here you see it right there on Ty Majeski, Corey Heim next to him. And the one to keep an eye on, we've been talking about the troubles with Ben Rhodes back there in 21st. We'll see if they made some good adjustments to help him out here. 95 laps to go. Corey Heim, Ty Majeski will lead him for the restart here at Homestead.
Nice push on the bottom from Zane Smith to Ty Majeski.
Nick Sanchez jumps out, tries to make it 4 wide back there in the pack. They made some good adjustments. He had fallen off.
Great battle up front for the lead.
And look at that, 3 wide in the pack. They're racing all over this racetrack.
Carson Hocevar in a hurry. So is Zane Smith on the top side in the 38.
A nice push by Carson Hocevar to get Corey Heim out front. Looks like Majeski is going to be able to clear and get back in line.
Look at Grin and Finger trying to get to the inside of Crafton as they race back there in the field.
Nick Sanchez on the inside of Matt Crafton.
Look at that run by Zane on the bottom. Really strong, able to wrap that bottom, pull right up in front of Hocevar. Will he try it again in 3 and 4?
You can make it work now with when these tires are new. Now he's going to go to the top, or at least the middle anyway.
Wow, he's got some good speed through the corners. Right
Who's
up
going to get up beside him, Michael?
Right up by Majeski. Great racing.
Side by side they go. That 38 truck has great speed no matter where he runs, trying to block the run from Carson Hocevar on the outside. Zane Smith moves into second. Carson Hocevar right behind him. Ty Majeski just behind him. What a battle.
And remember, for Zane Smith and Ty Majeski, they have to win. They're so far behind in points, they're going to have to win.
You can feel the urgency on these restarts. Just love this racetrack. You see truckers all over from the top to the bottom. You can make up time. Go where your competitor isn't, right, Michael?
Like, it's like baseball. You hit it where they ain't. Well, in this case, you drive where they're not, and these guys are doing just that. You get so much momentum when you dive to the bottom in the center of the corner, and then they're just robbed from you on the way off, and that's why you see so many great passes.
And it starts down the straightaway. When you get that draft pulls you right up to that truck. You pull out. You feel like you're Superman there, and then all of a sudden, oh, that guy on the outside, he has a little bit of momentum too.
Your spotter has a lot to do with being able to close some of those doors real quickly when you get that opportunity. So you got to trust your spotter, work with him. And then when you do run the bottom, like I said earlier, try to stay right on that white line. A little bit more grip there than there is just off the bottom.
You either wrap the white line or run the boards.
Great battle here. Nice Motorsports versus Thor Sport. 7 different organizations represented in the round of 8.
This is just after the restart. Look up top. Sanchez had a run on Crafton, tried to dive to the bottom.
And Infinger right in the middle of that as well.
In the middle of it. This is that scene.
On board with Nick Sanchez right here.
Bam.
There was contact with Grant Enfinger.
It looked like Grant maybe wanted to get to the inside of Crafton, but Nick was there.
How about racing on pit road in the garage after Talladega? They were fighting. Now they're fighting for a position on the track. Are Sanchez and Crafton again tied together.
Good battle right here, Jamie.
Yeah, battle for 13th. You see Raja Caruth, Truck Series regular. He's trying to hold off Trevor Bayne. Trevor hasn't done a whole lot of truck racing, so new opportunity for him. Of course, he loves doing the TV deal, but his heart is all about racing. So we got this opportunity, and he's done a great job coming from the back of the field today.
And his picker did a great job as well. They gained 7 spots on that pit stop. Trevor led the Xfinity race here last year, had a great car when he was driving for Joe Gibbs.
Carson Hocevar taking a peek here inside Zane Smith. Let's get an update on these two, Regan.
Well, Jamie, just to touch base on Trevor Bayne, of course, all kinds of problems yesterday. Checked with the team. Every issue they had yesterday is good now. They tore that truck apart last night to fix everything up. Early on in the first stage, felt like he burnt the right rear off that truck as he moved up to the top 20 pretty quick. Right now, very strong for Trevor.
Let's get an update on the two of Nick Sanchez. Struggled in that first stage, lost pole position. He said that truck was just way too free, so they tightened him up, lost a ton of spots on pit road, but that's because they made a number of adjustments, hoping it would help. Nick came back over the radio, said this truck is much better.
Yeah, Josh, you can tell, too. He had fallen outside the top 10, and now it just looks like it's tracking a little bit better. A lot of sideways action for him earlier. Now they've tightened it up, and he's moving forward. This battle just won't end, will it?
How many times have these guys swapped this position?
Great battle. How about Zane Smith's truck? Just beautiful. It's a beach scene. I know it's hard to see at this speed, but he's got a little sand on the bottom. Beautiful pink. And what did he tell us when you talked to him? He said that he had a little pink in the truck 2 years ago when he had that walk-off win at Martinsville to get into the championship 4.
I believe there's also some seafoam green in that truck.
A little bit. Kind of like the walls around Homestead, right?
Yeah, I'll spit out seafood.
Seafood green.
Oh, Ben, how about it? We made some progress here.
Gained on it. He was in the low 20s before that pit stop. Now he's up running in the 16th spot, battling the good truck. That's Trevor Bayne right there. Raja Caruth, that pink and white 24, moved to the inside of Ankrum.
Wow, huge adjustments, I'm sure, from Rich Lucius, and they were effective.
Ben Rhodes, the 2021 champion, doing all he can. He wants to have another shot at it, but they're all chasing that man. Corey Heim continues to lead 43 laps and counting. And caution is out here at Homestead-Miami Speedway for the first time for Spencer Boyd, who has come to a stop on the racetrack.
Boy, 23 laps completed in this stage.
Ooh, 26 or 7?
Yeah.
By the time we go green?
What a wild finish to this stage we're going to have if we can get some green flag running.
Is it time for a Hail Mary yet, Phil? Do we get our tires here if you're outside of the...
I don't know that you want to put 3 or 4 more laps
That's
on the
what
tires.
I'm afraid
You'll
of
have
as
track
well.
position for the start of the final stage, but I don't know if it's worth it.
We're getting ready to find out. These crew chiefs are going to make their money right here.
Saw the AMR safety crew tending to Spencer Boyd, but we don't really have any indication what happened. If it was just a mechanical or not.
Lost power, obviously, came to a rest and call it a day.
Maybe Ben Rhodes right now running in the 15th spot. Get some track position, let Rich make another adjustment on that truck and try to get him a little bit better. He definitely has gained on it.
Oh, way.
He's 10 positions better right now than he was in that first stage.
Well, Ben Rhodes was interviewed on race day, and he talked about that we need to mix it up. We can't do what those guys up front are doing. So mix the strategy up and see what they can do.
Well, Rich is one of my go-to guys in the garage area, and he said, we definitely understand that we're going to have to do something crazy if we get the opportunity. This wouldn't be quite crazy because you're just going to have a couple more laps on your tires if you decided to do just
and just
that.
ride around.
Yeah.
Just ride around for those 2 laps.
Let's check in with Memphis Villarreal's radio.
Oh, my bad there. I feel like he stopped right there. Like, I don't know. I didn't want to send him out. Sorry, guys. I don't know what I could have done different right there.
Nothing. The 22 was on your outside, and the guys couldn't get out there.
And guys, what happened there was the 33 got into the 22 on pit road, and the result was that the front tire carrier, or changer that is, for the 33, whose name is Corey Seeley, got hit, flipped over the wall. He's been taken to the infield care center. He was in a lot of discomfort on the way back, guys.
Well, that's tight. Tight, Josh. That's a shame. You saw the contact there. Just 2 trucks getting together, coming to the same part of pit road. And you heard Memphis talking about how sorry he was. I just don't really know what you could have done. Look at the front of that truck where the crew member bounced off of it.
And that's, remember now, that's where the pit road speed limit. Back in the day when we started, there was no pit road speed limits. You would come in there as hard as you could come in there, and those guys would jump out in front of you. It was scary times for a driver, not to mention pit crew members, Regan.
Well, Phil, they all hit pit road right here. Zane Smith lacking just a little bit of front turn, but the rear grip is a bigger issue for him with his truck. Corey Heim wanting to know exactly what Zane Smith is doing behind him as he tries to move around on the racetrack in the 42 of Carson Hocevar. Felt good, just wants a little bit more overall grip with his truck. Josh?
And the biggest issue for the 98 is still needing a little more drive off. He's been complaining about grip all race long, hoping they can get that truck where they need it to be, guys.
The crew chiefs obviously decided it was enough laps on the tires and just didn't think they would put as many on at the end of this second stage that would hinder them in the final stage. And all of our championship contenders come to pit road.
Yeah, see Ben Rhodes, I was wondering if maybe Ben, that would have been the gamble they would have taken to try to get up front for this couple 3-lap restart.
5 laps to go in stage number 2. Stay with us from Homestead. Welcome back to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, live from Homestead-Miami Speedway. Under caution for the second time with 3 laps to go in stage number 2. And I'll tell you, these pit road guys, they are athletes, but sometimes man versus machine can go sideways. Last week, last race at Talladega, boom, it happens there.
And Charlie Plank, amazing, just bounced up, smiled.
No harm, no foul for him, and this just happened moments ago.
Yeah, Memphis Lau was trying to squeeze into his pit, and he overshot his pit, and it was just more congestion than those crew guys could handle. Good to see that crew guy drive off on the cart, grimacing, but yet able to get to the cart.
We take it for granted what these guys do on a daily basis, and certainly now way more so than it was back in the day. These guys are athletes, but you know, it's hard to dodge a 3,400-pound race vehicle when they're coming at you.
So Corey Seelig was that tire carrier of the 33. He'll go to the infield care center for further evaluation.
Top 3 trucks right now stayed out, so we're going to see how much new tires mean against tires with 25 laps on them.
You're going to see.
We're going to see.
As soon as they get to turn 1,
yes,
you're going to see just that. This is going to be 4 or 5 wide. There it is.
You see it all pushing around with new tires. Tanner Gray was shown as the leader on old tires, but Corey Heim pushes his way around. He's got Zane Smith right behind him. Ben Rhodes on the high side trying to make his way through, trying to get to the top 10 to get a point or 2 in this stage number 2. Almost at the halfway point of this race.
Look at that. Wow, what action.
And look at those trucks that stayed out. The 16 of Ankrum, the 15 of Tanner Gray. Everybody driving by him. We have to remind people that the 23 of Grant Enfinger was penalized for an uncontrolled tire. Here we come at the end of the stage. No stage points for Grant Enfinger because of a penalty.
Wow, that's big. Here you see Hocevar working through the middle. Zane looks like he has Corey Heim's number.
Right
More good adjustments for that 38 truck. Corey Heim, Zane Smith. Green and white checkers are out for stage number 2. Corey Heim sweeps the first 2 stages of the race. Zane Smith just behind him, Bailey Curry, Nick Sanchez, Stuart Friesen hanging up in the top 5. Christian Eck is shown in the 6th spot. Ty Majeski, Matt Crafton, Chase Purdy, and Carson Hocevar in 10th.
We're hearing there may be a restart violation for Christian Eckes. We're checking with that right now. If that's the case, then I would think they would pull him out of that top 10. You can see restart violation, and he would not get any points for this stage. He's 3rd row outside. You see the blue Napa truck. You see, starts to make the pass right at the line. That's a tough call right there.
I don't see that.
Yeah, I'd give the tie to the runner on that one, but NASCAR's saying
stay
that
in line.
Yeah.
Let's
Until
take a
he
look.
crosses the finish line.
Take a look right down the line, see how close it is. He just pulled out. It doesn't say you got to be beside the other truck. It says you have to stay in line. And in NASCAR's opinion, didn't happen.
You need to fight that. What did I get a for? No, you got to fight it, Charles. There's no way I got a penalty there. Nothing to fight. I watched it with my own eyes. We'll just fight that.
So it sounds like they're not going to fight it.
Well, they don't have a choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
No
can
no
argue
stage
all you want.
points.
It's a ball, ball and strike. So.
No points for Christian Eckes there in stage number 2. But Corey Heim, they've been chasing him all day long. Can he hang on and take it all? And welcome back to Homestead-Miami Speedway. As you see the stage points earned today, Corey Heim has been perfect with 20, Zane Smith 16, Ty Majeski. Those two right there in a must-win situation. They're not going to be able to point their way in, so they need to find a way to get around the fastest truck today, and that is Corey Heim. So Stuart Friesen, a non-playoff driver, he's done a nice job. He's just running there in the top 5 quietly, broken back and all, right?
Yeah, finished third here last year. Good racetrack for Stuart Friesen, as Michael, with his dirt background, Michael was talking about, fits right in his wheelhouse.
You saw there 4 stage points for Christian Eckes. That's from the first stage. NASCAR took his points away in the second because of that restart violation.
And that can be huge.
So let's get a couple updates. We'll kick it off with Regan.
Well, Jamie, want to go back to the last caution. There was a lot of debate on the 38 radio of Zane Smith, whether they're going to stay out or pit. Ultimately, they decided to pit. He wanted to stay out, felt like 1 lap on tires was going to matter. But as they communicated back and forth, great communication between crew chief Chris Lawson, spotter Josh Williams, and Zane Smith, they figured out that everybody was going to be coming down on pit road. So important to get the right call in that moment. This team did a great job working together to make that happen, Josh.
I talked earlier about Ben Rhodes coming in with a different setup for that 99 truck in the first stage. He did not like the bounce of that truck at all, said he had no rear security. So not only did they make some adjustments, but he started running different lines. He started running the bottom in 3 and 4, the top in 1 and 2, and it has really helped him so far. He's up to 11th right now heading into the final stage.
Thank you, gentlemen. Well, Trevor Bayne, we talked about him starting in the back. He's worked his way up to 14th. Let's check in with him, Phil.
Let's see if we can.
Trying to see if we can get the radio to work here.
Next stop, that'd be great.
They're talking right now, so we'll have to take a second.
Hey, Trevor Bayne, Phil Parsons, and the guys and girls up in the Fox booth. You got a copy?
It is very scratchy. I hate to say it because I know how bad you want to talk there. What's going on?
Well, we've been watching you. I know you had certainly had your issues with that Rackley truck yesterday. Got hardly any practice, but hopefully the vibration's gone because you made some nice moves today. How's that truck?
Thank you, guys. I miss being there with you, but this has been a lot of fun today. Yesterday, you're right, was not very fun. We caught on fire, broke a shock, and had a transmission come apart there in a couple laps. So pretty busy, but the guys did a great job. Thank you to Curtis, Sutton, and Rackley for letting me do this. But, man, these restarts are wild in the truck series. You kind of underestimate it watching on TV. They sit back, get big runs, run on the apron. They're all over the place. So just hoping to have a better restart here and see if we can drive this thing to the top 10.
Yeah, sounds good. We'd love to see you get up in the top 10. We miss you here in the booth. You do such a great job, but we know that's a great racetrack for you. I was telling the folks a few minutes ago you had such a good run in that Gibbs car last year. Led a bunch of that race, so finish it off for us.
All right, thank you, Phil. Yeah, I can't wait to go use up the top here in a little bit. I'm trying to take care of this right side early on. These metal bodies aren't as forgiving as those Xfinity and Cup bodies, but yeah, I hope we can go rim ride here in about 20 laps or so.
All right, buddy, appreciate it. Finish it off.
Phil, you ought to tell him to take care of it, because isn't Stephen going to race it at Phoenix?
He is. Yeah, he's very fortunate that Curtis and Willie and the guys have given him an opportunity. So should I go back and tell Trevor to take it easy on that track? Don't ride the wall too much.
We'll check in with him later
Okay.
and make sure we keep him in line for sure.
Okay.
That's a great opportunity for Stephen Parsons. Very deserving.
Certainly is. We appreciate that very, very much.
Well, college football continues today right here on FS1. Up next, Wisconsin takes on Illinois. Then Texas Tech battles BYU. Then under the lights, it's Arizona State against Heisman candidate Michael Penix Jr. and the 5th-ranked Washington team. Don't miss any of the action. That's today on FS1. Talk about hype and energy. Man, it doesn't get bigger than college football.
And you know, here today, we're going to put our 4 finalists for this Craftsman Truck Series Championship into the race in Phoenix. They're going to go battle their college football, NASCAR playoffs. Man, it's a great time of year.
And we're going to have to wait 2 weeks, just like the Super Bowl, just like those teams that qualify for the Super Bowl. Wait that extra week.
There's a lot on the line, just 68 laps to go. And you see the 19 dropping down. He'll have to restart at the tail end of the lead lap trucks for that restart violation.
That's going to be a tough one for Christian. It was such a close call there. You see him now pull over to the side, has to go to the back for this restart. And he lost the stage points too.
Heartbreaker, because he was almost untouchable when we kicked off the playoffs in the last 2 weeks. Just heartbreakers last laps at Bristol and Talladega. Regan.
Well, Jamie Grant Enfinger having that penalty earlier on, of course, hurting him just a little bit and his hopes to go to the championship race. Keep an eye on this team. This was one team that told me they would get very aggressive with a Hail Mary if they have to, whether that means pitting early or pitting late on this next stage. Something we'll have to keep an eye on, Josh.
We'll keep an eye on the 88 of Matt Crafton. Lost in the post-race fight from last week was the fact that he loved his truck yesterday during practice. Felt like they had one of the best trucks on track, and he's finished in the top 10 8 straight times here at Homestead. He said this is a track he loves, those low-grip ones where the driver is in full control, and he's in control right now, guys.
And Matt Crafton shown in the 7th spot. Of course, he's not highlighted because he has been eliminated. But meanwhile, the boys up front are in the hunt. Corey Heim, Zane Smith side by side as the green flag waves once again.
Great start for Zane down there on the bottom. Really good jump, and he's going to get the lead.
Zane Smith leads at Homestead for the first time today.
Bailey Curry gave him a big push. Got him out front. See if Bailey can hang in there.
Corey Heim's going to fight back and get back around Bailey Curry. You see Hocevar jumping on the line. There's Nick Sanchez moving to the inside of Bailey Curry.
Carson Hocevar trying to thread the needle, move around, get his way back up. Ty Majeski just behind him.
I'm not sure there was room for Hocevar to get in front of Majeski, but it made it work.
3 wide into turn 1.
Chase Purdy, the
Caution.
trouble on the front stretch.
Caution comes out for the 4th time. That's Colby Howard in the 9.
Like a little left front damage.
Some flat tires.
And some right front damage.
Yeah, it looks like he might have maybe got into the inside wall with the front end of that truck.
Maybe just squeezed out. There's another truck with some damage. Haley Deegan after her pit road issue. Looks like those trucks got together, probably trying to squeeze into a spot that wasn't there, like you said Hocevar had done the lap before.
I think they'll be able to repair that truck, just clearance that left front tire. A little more damage to the 9 truck for Colby Howard.
You know, if I'm a crew chief, I'm like, good, I don't have to do anything here. No decisions.
No decisions to make. It's too early to come again.
I know all this.
We can't make it.
I would take a deep breath if I was one of those guys right now.
It's all on their driver. Get another good restart. There's a replay of what happened on the front stretch. This was back in the 23rd spot.
Yeah, they were 4 wide there in back of the bike. It looked like Colby Howard probably got into the outside wall.
Oh, somebody squeezed up. That was Haley squeezing up.
And then moved away and got into the right
Yeah.
right rear quarter panel of Colby Howard, put him in the outside wall.
Luckily, not much damage. Who's actually trying to squeeze? Was that Dean Thompson?
Couldn't tell.
There's the damage on the 9 truck.
See the splitter on the ground. They're going to have to get that up off the ground.
Cleanup continues here. Stay with us. 65 laps remaining in Florida.
Watch for a lot of action. It's going to heat up. It's just the thrill ride that this place is. They're going to go 3 wide.
You got to focus on that track and not over-driving it.
Every lap that goes by, the intensity just ratchets up. We're getting ready to see some crazy action with our truckers.
And welcome back to Miami. Today is Elimination Day. Just 63 more laps. We will know who the Championship 4 drivers are. They'll get a weekend off, and then we'll go racing at Phoenix to determine who our champion will be. See the schedule of events once we get to Phoenix. Trucks qualifying 6 p.m. Eastern. That's right here on FS1. Trucks race day 9 Eastern on FS2, and then Truck Series racing. It's prime time for you West Coasters, 10 p.m. Eastern. Get the coffee or a glass of wine, beer, whatever you fancy. Join us here on FS1 to see who will be the 2023 champion.
Now that's a fun Friday night to me right there.
A lot of action that Friday night.
And then we're going to crown a champion at the end of it.
And we expect a lot of the same weather, right? Hey, Regan, what are they saying in Grant Enfinger's pit?
Well, Jamie, caution gives a lot of opportunity to try and figure out different scenarios on the track. Take a listen to what Grant and crew chief, he and his crew chiefs just had to say.
We got to catch the 2 and pass him, but we need to finish 7 spots in front of the 2 and 8 spots in front of the 19, correct? Yeah, we got to finish 7 spots ahead.
They finished that up by saying, you know what, the easiest way to make it to the transfer is to just go win the race. I like that plan. Just go win the race. It's way simpler that way.
Certainly simplifies things, Regan. And Grant Enfinger back in the 12th spot. And Ben Rhodes actually shown in 11th, so certainly gotten that truck better.
There's that 99 that was all over the place yesterday and the start of today. Great job by crew chief and team to get that thing tuned up. And
Michael,
now,
close your eyes. I know you hate that word, but it's true. It's there, the cutoff line you see as they run right now.
green, if you're above it, good, right? Below it, bad. It's that simple.
10-4.
That's that simple, and there's so many plans these crew chiefs are formulating in their mind right now of how to make sure they get in that top 4 to go to Phoenix and race for that championship.
And remember, if Zane Smith loses the lead, then that cut line moves. Zane Smith moves out from that 2nd spot below Corey Heim, down probably to the 8th spot, I would think, in the grid.
See the choose cone. So Zane Smith took the lead just before the last caution came out, leading here for the first time today. Corey Heim has led 57 laps. Zane Smith shown as leading 6 laps now, mostly under caution.
That tandem on the bottom right there is the same tandem that grabbed the lead on that last restart. Bailey Curry with a nice job pushing Zane ahead. See what happens here. And remember, every lap that goes by is going to get crazier. How does that happen, Phil? Because we've seen them 4 and 5 wide already. Then instead of just diving 3 and 4 wide, they're going to shove into each other and get themselves in the position they're looking for.
And how about Nick Sanchez? He's got the big picture going on, but he also knows this is his home track. When he was 5 years old, Nick Sanchez came to this racetrack. I believe his uncle brought him, and he watched the truckers go by, went home, and his mom Googled how to be a race car driver. So they signed him up, got him a go-kart. He started racing around Miami in a go-kart, and here he is living out his dream.
And race go-karts right here at this racetrack. Not on the oval, certainly, but here at this racetrack.
Certainly a great story. So he's got a lot of family and friends in attendance, and right now he restarts on the 2nd row. Started the race from the pole, by the way. Zane Smith, Corey Heim, this has been a fun battle to watch today, side by side as the green flag is in the air once again.
Man.
Huge restart.
Big jump.
Here comes Dean Thompson making it 4 wide back there in the pack.
Look at Sanchez trying to get to the outside of Corey Heim. Corey said, I'm going to block that move. See if Bailey Curry can pull up in front of Corey Heim.
He does it.
Bailey Curry doing a heck of a job holding off all these playoff drivers.
Grant Enfinger trying to come from behind. Looks like he's got a good truck. He's going to be able to squeeze to the bottom of Purdy. I think so.
Ben Rhodes on the move, and that bright orange number 99 truck goes to the inside of his teammate Ty Majeski. They are moving.
That's a quick lane change there by Rajan Carruth, wasn't it? Man, it was a matter of inches there from a big crash. I talked about the spotters and how quick they have to call things. These drivers have to react equally as quickly.
How about Raja really showing some strength now? Trying to get by Ben Rhodes and Ty Majeski.
Raja Carruth in that pink and white number 24.
What a move. Can he bring Matt Crafton along?
3 wide behind him. 3 Thor Sport teammates running 3 wide.
Stuart Friesen wants to mix up that Thor Sport party.
He's going to do it too.
There's Grant Enfinger right along with him. He's just outside the top 10 right now.
He'll go to the bottom.
See if he can wrap that bottom, just hug that white line around the bottom. I love the off throttle time here at this racetrack. This is not your typical 1.5 miles where they run just about wide open around here.
Yeah, you just want to mat it once you get ready to go back to the gas, but sometimes you just got to squeeze it down like we heard Enfinger doing there.
Looks like he's going to be able to clear Ben Rhodes.
Ben's sliding again.
So with that, Grant Enfinger moves into the 10th spot. With all this action going on back here up front, the battle continues. The 11 of Corey Heim trying to take away the lead from Zane Smith.
With Carson Hocevar, the blue number 42, not far behind. Caution.
Caution out for the 5th time. Turn 4. The 22 truck goes around. That's Mason Maggio.
He gets it right and keeps rolling. I think he has a flat tire.
Mason Maggio doing double duty. We got the Xfinity Series race coming up after this, and a guy named Dale Earnhardt Jr. is in the field.
That'll be fun to watch.
That'll be fun.
How about his first Xfinity race this year? Bristol led a bunch of laps till they caught on fire.
And he brought the same car back that caught on fire. Of course, they fixed things up, but always nice to see Dale Jr. in the field. So that's coming up later today.
Going to have yet another restart.
Now,
a little bit outside our window with 55 laps to go. I think we're just outside our pit window. They might be able to make it from here, but I don't think they want to have that many laps on their tires, knowing that we could potentially get another caution flag.
watch at the top of your screen there in the circle. Just got a little bit congested there, and you saw, was that 02 of Space Beans into the wall a little bit?
Like he was riding along the outside wall, and then maybe the 22 of Mason Maggio saw that, backed off, and maybe got a little nudge from behind.
You mentioned Brad Perez in the 02 on pit road.
There's the left front down on that truck, and maybe that was the reason why he's up next to the wall. And I think it just slowed things down and got it congested, and there was some contact made, and Mason unfortunately went around.
Brad Perez has held so many different jobs throughout NASCAR. Any internship, I feel like he takes it. He's a driving instructor. That's his real job. Great to see this opportunity. Well, they'll continue cleanup. We'll drop the green flag again from Homestead. Cleanup continues here at Homestead-Miami Speedway, and we had a taker on pit road. Ben Rhodes, you guys like the call?
I like the call. I don't know that I would have put tires on, but Rich Lucia said, let's put tires on. It's our last set. If this race goes green, we're going to be at a little bit of a tire advantage over the rest of the field. They have 8 green flag laps on their tires. But conversely, if the caution were to come out in 10 or 15 or 20 laps, then Ben Rhodes is in serious trouble.
That was his Hail Mary right there.
100%.
He came to pit road, put
100%.
that last set of tires on, and said, we're going to think this thing's going to go green to the checker and give us our best chance to win this race.
Christian, we talked about it during the commercial break. Christian Eckes is running in the 14th spot, and I thought maybe it would be an opportunity for him to come, maybe just put fuel in and save the tires. Then he'd be on the same tires, but have enough fuel possibly to get to the end, Josh.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, they came over the radio and said we needed to go green to the end, but they told them, hey, that's the only play we had. We weren't going to win it the other way, so they chose to come and get those tires and hope it works out for them.
Thanks, Josh, for the update. So as they run right now, we've got 4 in, 4 below the cut line. And Christian Eckes, one of those, after that restart violation, didn't get any points in stage number 2. And here's your 4. The 19, the 23 Grant Enfinger, the 98 Ty Majeski, 99 of Ben Rhodes on the outside looking in.
Remember, a penalty for Grant Enfinger as well that kept him from getting stage points in the second stage. Majeski has had a great race so far, 14 stage points, but he was so far behind that he pretty much is in a must-win situation.
There you see at the bottom of the left of the screen the points and how they're stacked up right now.
And again, if Zane Smith was to lose the lead to Corey Heim or anybody else, then that cut line moves down below Christian Eckes, and Zane's down below that.
We'll keep you updated all day long. We're coming to the choose. There's going to be a whole lot happen over the next 50 laps, and we're going to watch that flagman as close as Rich Lucius does with that 99 truck and see if it doesn't fly, giving him a chance to win this race.
It's about to get good. You know, at the top of the show, I said, well, we had 2 cautions all of the race last year. Well, things have been a little bit different today, a little bit crazier. 5 cautions for 28 laps so far. As we see the drivers choosing now.
We'll have to see if Zane Smith can have that restart magic that he's had the last 2 times. When the launch happens, he's gone. That's a big advantage, starting down there on that bottom and getting through turns 1 and 2.
You can probably run through wide open at that, and it's a shorter distance around the racetrack. You just have to have it figured out by the time you get to turn 3.
Bailey Curry, now in that 41 truck on the outside of that second row, he was a good pusher as well. So it'd be interesting to see if that's the case here.
So just recently announced the schedule for 2024. Lock in your tickets now. How about Bristol twice, but no dirt?
No dirt at Bristol. We'll be on the concrete twice. We're going to go back to North Wilkesboro, talking about repaving North Wilkesboro. That'll be fun.
What a great trip that was last year. I can't wait to head back and look at Carson Hocevar celebrating with the fire in Richmond.
Going to start the playoffs at Milwaukee in late August.
Going back to Martinsville.
We saw that 11-1. That means November 1st we're going to Martinsville, so change things up a little bit.
What will that be at Martinsville?
The penultimate
Yes,
race.
it will be. Yes, it will be.
Our producer, Mark, loves that.
Yeah, I just wish y'all tell me what it means. What kind of race is that anyway?
Second to the last, Mikey. 1 race remaining, and that is for everything, the championship trophy. But first, we got to get through today. 50 laps to go from Homestead-Miami. Watch the restart from the 38 on the inside is Zane Smith. Corey Heim on the outside as they fan out all over the place. 4 wide into turn 1.
What about Bailey Curry with the big push? But he said, I'm going to take that push and go high. Doesn't work. Look at Matt Crafton scraping along the wall. I told you it's just going to get more and more intense.
Corey Heim slipped back a little bit. Great restart for Zane Smith. Carson Hocevar in second. Here comes Corey Heim to the inside trying to make up that spot.
Spread out all around the racetrack, all over the racetrack, bottom, middle, and top.
These are the kind of days that put your name on the map. If you're Bailey Curry running right up in that top 5 here late, pushing and pressing, trying to get to victory lane.
He's got Raja right behind him. Raja running up in the top 5 with a great run.
Raja Karu drives for GMS Racing. They announced a few weeks back that they will be shutting their doors the end of this season. As of now, we don't know where Raja's going. I don't believe he has any plans yet, so he knows he's driving for a job right now.
We know Daniel Dye is going over to McNally Hilgeman Racing. We know that Grant Enfinger thinks his deal is done. Hasn't been announced yet, but nothing for Raja yet.
And Christian Eckes announced this week he'll be back with McAnally Racing. Had such a great season. They built this team basically around Christian Eckes, and what a year it has been for them, so they'll be back together next season.
And Jake Garcia has announced that he will not be back with that team.
Oh, silly season. I just love it.
Look at Corey Heim. I think this is the fastest truck, Phil, whether you can get up to Zane and do anything with him or not. Look at that move. He was able to complete the pass, do the slide job before they ever got to the corner almost. Nice little in and out move there for that 11 truck.
Good battle for the 4th spot. You see Raja pulling up beside of Bailey Curry. There's Grant Enfinger. There's some playoff contenders right there. Nick Sanchez, Enfinger mixed in with Stuart Friesen and Matt Crafton.
Michael, you talk about the 11 of Corey Heim. I mean, he's just been the most solid team, the most solid truck all year long. He's finished in the top 10 all but 2 races. He's won 3 times this year. Just consistency has been the name of the game for this team.
Last race at Talladega was the first race in a 14 race stretch that he didn't lead at least 1 lap, and he's led a lot of laps. The most laps led of anybody in the series this year.
And he's continuing that. He's led the most laps today with 57.
Let me update the bright orange truck, the 99. How important are those tires? We've seen him struggle all day long. Already inside the top 10 after that stop, just logging laps, hoping. You know, hope's a strategy at times.
Yes, it's a good one at times.
Hoping that caution flag doesn't fly.
And that's with only 8 less laps on his tires, and he's already made his way in the top 10, and it would not shock me to see him drive up and take the lead.
Well, we saw last year they ran green for the entire 3rd stage, and that allowed Ty Majeski to check out and take home the win, as you see the 99 of Ben Rhodes.
I think that's when the spotter, Stuart Friesen, says, just don't worry about him.
He's tires.
He's got tires, and he's going to be going on his way.
So much fun, though. There's nothing any more fun driving a race car when you have better tires than anybody else.
And there's nothing any more depressing when the caution flag flies and you don't have any more left. So he's living both right now. Look at the slipping and slide we have here.
How about Bailey Curry? I'm just so impressed with what he's doing the 3rd spot.
How about Raja now gonna grab that 3rd spot?
And look who's joining them. Glad we got a picture of Ben a lap ago when he just cracked in the top 10, because now he's gonna go for the top 5.
I'll tell you, we'll be talking about Ben Rhodes going for the lead here before too many more laps. And if this works out and Ben Rhodes wins this race, Rich Lucius got the call of the year.
But he puts himself in that position a lot. Rich is a gambler. He likes taking chances. He likes running the show up on the box and seeing what's next.
Well, they did it together just a couple years ago. They are the champions together. Things got mixed up this year. They mixed up crew chiefs. And then when it was all said and done, Rich Lucius back working with Ben.
Yeah, the 3rd different crew chief that Ben has worked with this year.
Hasn't been the easiest season for him, no doubt. But here he is trying to make the most of it as Corey Heim goes to the inside.
Listen to him work that throttle. Grant Enfinger just squeezing it down.
You figure it's just dirty air for Corey Heim, as dominant as that truck was for the first 2 stages?
It certainly will change the handling balance of your truck, and when you're out front, you don't know hardly what to adjust, and then when you get back in traffic, you can say, this is what I need, but it's a little bit too late now. There's the gambler. Look at him studying the notes, probably praying that the caution flag doesn't fly.
Call of the day so far for Ben Rhodes, who's knocking on a top 5 run right now. But Corey Heim fell back another spot when we were on board with Grant Enfinger. He got around him. Now they battle again, back and forth.
How many laps do these other playoff contenders run it out before they hit pit road? Regan, what's going on with the 11? He's falling back.
Michael, during the previous caution, he complained about the truck, said he felt like it was bottoming out worse than it had all day long. Well, it's getting very tight. He just came on the radio to the crew chief, Scott Zipadelli. It is no good and getting worse as he runs here.
That's got to be mechanical. You see his hand out the window. He may be coming to pit road. One of maybe a spring or something is collapsing.
Such a great start to the day. Won the first 2 stages, led 57 laps. But the good news for him, he's locked in. He's punched his ticket. He's moving on to the championship race. And Regan, he's coming to you.
That's right, JB. As we just reported, the truck no good right now. They figured to go ahead and make their pit stop right now to try something different.
Yeah, and this isn't a gamble. He's already in. He's just doing whatever he's got to do to try to figure out what's going on with this truck. These other drivers and crew chiefs particularly got a lot of decisions to make over the next few laps.
They know how fast he's going to be now. Does that bring these other guys to pit road a little bit earlier than they wanted to be? I thought they would be somewhere up between 100 and 105 because of all the caution laps we've had since they put tires on, but that may bring these guys to pit road earlier than that.
So Zane Smith continues to lead. Carson Hocevar just under a second. Stay with us. You won't miss a thing. We're going side by side. Green flag pit stops underway at Miami Homestead. I said that backwards. Homestead-Miami Speedway.
Well, you deserve it, JB. There's a lot. I mean, we're confused. Everybody's using a different strategy now. Some drivers coming to pit. What we can't afford right now, Phil, is a mistake.
Oh, man.
You don't want to come over the radio and hear we got to do a drive-through. You can see locking the brakes down there, trying to time his speed on pit road was Christian Eckes. That's how close and how intense a trip down pit road is for these drivers.
Josh.
And Nick Sanchez coming in right now. He's been struggling with that truck just a little bit. They're going to go down on the right rear, and they're not going to do a track bar adjustment they were originally going to do.
Hearing Nick Sanchez may have had a little contact. Let's look back here.
Oh, he didn't expect the 15 to stop, and Nick was a little hotter than him. So he saw him skid the tires. We're getting the word now. Christian Eckes too
fast exiting.
And what he was doing is sliding those tires, just trying to time those lines, and he obviously missed it.
Josh.
Yeah, and too fast exiting for the 19, so another frustrating hit for that team that's been penalized now twice.
Heartbreak again for that team who has been so good, but just costly mistake.
It'll be hard to overcome this one. Remember, he came into this race 9 points above the cut line, Regan.
Carson Hocevar deciding to peel off and make his final pit stop right now. Pretty quiet on the radio from Carson as he makes his run.
Like they might have had a little trouble on the right rear on Carson's pit stop.
Look at our pylon up on the left. You can see Zane's leading. Here he comes to pit road, but Ben Rhodes is going to assume the lead. How far ahead will he be of these guys, Regan, and can he hold them off?
Like Michael, that's got to be fun to watch, and it's going to be fun to watch if Zane Smith can track him back down. The only complaints from Zane, maybe lacking just a little bit of grip right now, especially with the right sides. He has been getting all kinds of information about where the trucks behind him are running on the track.
That truck's been lights out this third stage of this race. Zane Smith has led 34 laps, but now Ben Rhodes leading for the first time as Ty Majeski's in, Josh.
And Ty Majeski is in to get those tires. He's been fighting a tight truck for most of this race, hoping this final adjustment will get what he needs to repeat here at Homestead.
Got some problems with the...
Scrambling up there to get something for that left front, Michael.
It was the, I think the air wrench went bad, and they had to get another one. Dove over the wall there. You could see the... We talk about the athleticism of these guys. When something goes wrong, they go to hustling, don't they? This is really, really a great show of what these guys are made of down on pit road.
Well, Phil, you called it. You said with 30 to 35 laps to go, that's when they need to come in. They needed to split the stage there, and that's what most of our drivers just did.
See, Hocevar getting by Grant Enfinger. 3 laps later, Hocevar pitted than Grant Enfinger. It was Matt Crafton. Matt's going to give up the second spot to come to pit road. You know, I was watching Ben Rhodes and his lap times. He had kind of leveled off about 5 or 6 seconds behind our leader, Zane Smith, before the pit stop started for the rest of the field.
Well, Corey Heim ran a 35 flat last time by, and Ben ran 36.70. That's a second and over a second and a half faster for Heim. So if you do the math, he's going to get there.
And remember, the important thing is that Corey Heim right now is in front of Zane Smith. Remember, Zane had a pretty substantial lead over Corey Heim when Corey Heim came to pit road because his truck was struggling.
Let's listen to Ben Rhodes' radio.
I feel like the 11 is the biggest threat. He's the one that started the cycle the fastest. He's 30 seconds back, and his tires should eventually equal out to us.
I love the optimism. I don't think they'll equal out quite as slowly as Ben has gotten to already. What's the 11 saying, Regan?
Well, Michael, just to update them pitting as early as they did, check with crew chief Scott Zipadelli. He said they actually felt like they had a tire going down was the reason to come that early. Something was just off on that run. That was the main reason.
Great insight. Thank you, Regan. So thought he had a tire maybe going down. Seems like he's just fine now. Corey Heim shown in the 7th spot as Ben Rhodes continues to lead with about an 8-second lead right now over Jack Wood, who of course is not pitted yet.
Here comes Zane Smith. You saw him just a moment ago. 8 laps difference between when Corey Heim pitted and Zane Smith pitted.
And now they're separated by just that much. And this is a big advantage to Zane.
Potentially the battle for the win right here between these two drivers. $4 miles an hour difference between the leader and Corey Heim.
See Zane just slipping and sliding there off turn 4 and drives up beside Corey Heim.
Wants to use those tires, use those newness of those tires. 8 laps newer tires for Zane Smith over Corey Heim. Easily makes the pass.
Working lap number 108, 27 laps to go to decide who the championship 4 will be.
Take a look at our points as they run right now. Remember, Ben Rhodes as the leader shows to be locked in. That could change if Zane Smith and Corey Heim and those guys catch him. But it was the move he had to make.
Yeah, it was
the only move that was going to work for Rich Lucius and Ben Rhodes.
I love what they did, but time is going to run out on them. The lap times from Zane and those other drivers are just a great amount faster than is the 99 right now.
Over a second and a half that last lap, Zane Smith was faster than Ben Rhodes. And with 25 laps to go now, he's certainly going to be in his sights. And you can see this is our leader, Ben Rhodes, and literally almost every truck on the racetrack that put tires on 8 or 10, 15 laps after him are faster than he is.
25 to go. They played the cards that they had to in order to have a chance to win this race. I think they're going to come up short.
But it was certainly a valiant effort. Almost 2 seconds a lap faster that time for Zane Smith than Ben Rhodes.
Chris Lawson, you got to give it up for that team too. He took a chance by running longer on those tires, thinking that the fresher tires toward the end would pay off, and we saw him drive around Heim and is heading toward the lead.
Just a reminder, Ben Rhodes pitted on lap 81, Zane Smith lap 102, Hocevar 101, and Corey Heim pitted on lap 94.
Look at the speeds in the pylon over there. Ben Rhodes last lap 147.5, Zane Smith 153.5, Carson Hocevar 154.3.
What about Chase Purdy and Marco? Marco's just learning and getting better. The team's made strategy calls for those guys to try to get some track position. It's working so far. They're going to run out of luck here in a bit, but it's still improved where they were running prior to the pit stop and the strategy call.
Marco Andretti trying to get comfortable. Maybe he's the driver we see more in the Truck Series next year. Of course, we already said he'll be in at Phoenix as well.
I think that's good for us. Marco's a great personality, a lot of fun, obviously wonderful history in motorsports from his family. Look at Zane cutting through this field.
Yeah, he's not going to be comfortable till he can see that 99 in his windshield of Ben Rhodes, our leader.
He's up to third. And let me give you an update here in about a corner. He's up to second.
Zane Smith just gets around the 7 of Marco Andretti. Marco actually made his IndyCar debut at this very racetrack. Back in the day, this was the first race of the season back in 2006. So he has a lot of laps around this place, but I can't even imagine the difference a truck feels compared.
I can't imagine that he's ever gone any slower around this racetrack than he is right this minute.
See Zane now just under 16 seconds behind, 22 laps to go. Last lap he was 1.4 seconds faster than Ben Rhodes. Ben is doing all he can do right now. His tongue's hanging out. These laps cannot go by quick enough for Ben Rhodes.
You're right, Phil. This is very tense for the team. They can do the math, though. They can see that Zane's definitely going to get there. I wonder if they've let Ben in on that secret yet or not. Or just say, Ben, keep your head down, get all you can.
Just keep digging, Ben.
I feel like they've been fighting and clawing throughout the playoffs just to get to this point. So what a day it could be for them if they do advance to the championship 4. As they cross the start-finish line, this is the Craftsman, 20 to go. Can Ben Rhodes hang on? 14-second lead over Zane Smith. Carson Hocevar just a second behind Zane Smith. 20 laps to go from Homestead-Miami Speedway. Stay with us. Who will win it? Ben Rhodes continues to lead here as he makes his way around lap traffic. But that gap back to Zane Smith is closing quickly.
Lap traffic is making their way around Ben Rhodes is what's happening right now. Everybody that comes up to him catches him and passes him.
But the battle now is becoming that battle right there. These guys are both going to catch Ben Rhodes. They're so much faster, but Carson Hocevar continually is faster than Zane Smith, and he actually pitted 4 laps earlier than Zane Smith did. Here we go, battle for the spot.
And this means that Zane Smith, he has to win this race to transfer. Carson Hocevar drives around Zane. Can Zane come back?
Carson Hocevar around Zane Smith. Carson does not have to win to make it in.
You can see how big that move was for Zane Smith. He has to win this race.
And this is going to switch when Carson Hocevar catches and passes Ben Rhodes, and he will do that. That's going to move that cut line.
And it could put
Ben back in.
Ben Rhodes back in.
On points. We'll have to see where they land here. It'll update just as soon as that lead changes, and that's going to happen probably within about 4 or 5 laps, I would guess.
What about the speed that Carson's come up with late in this race on those older tires? There's that 42 truck. He ran down Zane. He was some 2 or 3 seconds behind him in a couple of laps. He just drove up there and took it away.
Just under a 4-second lead now for Ben Rhodes as Carson Hocevar continues to close that gap.
Yeah, he's gonna catch him within 4 or 5 laps for sure. You see Chase Purdy, who has pressure tires, and Carson Hocevar has made his way by him.
These guys are just tiptoeing, but Carson's able to use his toes a little bit better than the rest right now. Drives away from Zane.
Regan, what's the 38 saying?
Jamie, ever since the pit stop of a little while ago, he had been very quiet on the radio and focused, but he just came across the radio, said it is absolutely plowing tight, and you could hear the dejection in his voice as he said it.
So they had made good adjustments to that 38, and now it sounds like it's going the opposite direction for Zane Smith. Even if he finishes 3rd where he is right now, it's not good enough. And sideways for Ben Rhodes. He's losing the handle on that race truck, but he still continues to lead, trying to hold off Hocevar. Let's hear his radio.
We need top 3. We need top 3. We want to win it, but we need top 3 to point our way in. So you just keep doing your job, buddy.
He has almost 14 seconds on Corey Heim running 4th. So I think they feel like, remember how early Corey Heim put his tires on in this cycle. I feel like they think as we're going to watch Carson Hocevar just easily drive by for the lead. Ben Rhodes it's doable to finish 3rd.
Yes, it is. You can see the cushion he has there.
11 laps to go. Carson Hocevar takes the lead for the first time today. And I'll tell you, I feel like every time we've looked, Carson has had the fastest lap in this race, especially the second half of the race.
Yeah, Ben Rhodes is definitely going to lose the 2nd spot to Zane Smith. That's Zane, the pink truck right behind him. He'll pass him this lap. But if he can hold on to 3rd, that's what his guys say. That will be enough to point his way in. There it is. Zane getting by Ben to take over the 2nd spot. Now Ben has 12 seconds on Corey Heim right now, running 4th with 10 laps to go. And I don't think Corey Heim is running enough faster than Ben is. It's going to be close. He's going to get close to him, but I'm not sure he's going to get there.
He gained over 1.5 seconds on him that lap. I think it's doable.
There was a lot of traffic that lap for Ben Rhodes, though. There's Corey Heim going into turn 3. Let's take a look. See Ben Rhodes now going into turn 1. 10 seconds right now, Michael. 10 seconds is what that gap is.
There's 9 to go, and he gained over 1 second and 2/10 on him. And
what has happened to Nick Sanchez? Kind of out of the mix. He's fallen back in the 19th spot.
Looks like he's going to be the first man out, Phil.
Well, there's that. Is that Dean Thompson right in front of him? If that's Dean, that's not Dean. That's Memphis Villarreal. Dean Thompson is the next truck in front of Nick Sanchez. Right now, we show him 2 points out. So he's going to need to gain 2 positions. We don't think that Ben Rhodes is going to lose any more positions. So it's going to be on Nick Sanchez to gain 2 positions somehow.
Well, Nick Sanchez had that contact coming to pit road. You wonder if that's affected his truck at all.
35 of Jake Garcia hanging right with our leader. He's got fresher tires.
And that's the spot that Nick Sanchez is going to have to get. He's going to have to get the 5 of Dean Thompson and the 35 of Jake Garcia.
And he's got less than 7 laps to do it. Corey Heim was less than a second faster than Ben Rhodes last time by. Boy, there's a lot to keep up with here, but it looks like this guy, if he can just stay ahead of the 11 of Corey Heim.
You see the gap right there. Ben Rhodes.
There's Heim off turn
Back
2.
to Heim.
Basically the back straightaway length, and he's got 7 laps to hold on.
And that's a battle for position right now with Grant Enfinger. Grant right now is being shown above the cut line. You see him right there in third, 7 points above the cut line, and has fresher tires than Corey Heim does. Will probably make this pass on Corey Heim.
But the next pass would be the one that would matter to Ben Rhodes. If he can drive up and catch Ben after Enfinger gets around Heim, if he's able to do so. But I'm telling you, Grant's just saying, let's run 6 laps and go home. That's all I want to do. I'm tired of sweating this baby out.
I'm actually okay staying right here.
5 to go, and I'm all right being right here.
It's hard to stay in these seats right now. There is so much going on, so much on the line.
Oh, look at that slide by Heim.
All those trucks are sliding around this racetrack.
Jonathan Schaefer in that 30 hanging on. He's a dirt racer. He's not, doesn't have a problem with that.
There's Bailey Curry. That's also a truck on the lead lap battle for position with Enfinger and Corey Heim. Bailey Curry having another great run for Nice Motorsports.
A couple of top 5s already this season. Part-time driver, having a really good run today. You know, that's so different about NASCAR. Obviously, our playoffs, they're still racing against everyone else on the field. So a lot of storylines to keep up with, but Bailey Curry's been a nice story today, has stayed in the top 10.
And if I'm Grant Enfinger's guys, I'm saying do not worry about that 41 truck. We're comfortably in right now.
Pull out of those way if you have to.
Exactly. Just don't push the issue with that 41. Let him go by if he wants it that bad. 4 laps to go.
4 laps to go. Corey Heim, we know, is in. It's showing right now. Hocevar, Enfinger, and Rhodes would advance to the championship 4. A lot can change here, though, in 4 laps.
Ben Rhodes at that 99 has tidied things up.
Over 6 seconds now with only 3 to go. I think if we go green the rest of the way, he's going to hold on. And what a great call by Rich Lucius and his guys to make that pit stop when they did.
Rich just does that, man. He's done it so many times and takes chances and makes it work. It's really fun to watch.
Ben Rhodes said that's what it's going to take. We're going to have to do something they don't do.
See Nick Sanchez now, Marco Andretti, that's the truck in front of him. That's 1 more spot. He needs 2 more, and he does hold the tiebreaker right now.
But Dean Thompson's fast, and that's the next truck ahead of him, and he just ran faster the last time than Sanchez did.
Ben Rhodes has the tiebreaker. He finished 2nd at Talladega, so he would hold the tiebreaker over Nick Sanchez. Again, Nick still needs 2 spots.
Carson Hocevar leads them as the white flag will come out. 1 lap to go. What a season it has been for Carson Hocevar. 3 wins already, never made it to this point, and all the things happening behind him. How is this one going to shake out?
This is amazing. What a great race. What a fun strategy run to the checker flag. What intensity.
Zane Smith had to win this race to advance. 3 seconds back, he doesn't have enough time. Carson Hocevar, they've had a perfect day. He led when it counted most. Checkered flag is out. Carson Hocevar gets it done at Homestead-Miami Speedway. They have punched their ticket and will race for a championship.
And so will that guy right there, Ben Rhodes, who's going to come home in the 3rd spot. What a great call and a great drive by Ben Rhodes.
Rich Lucius is crew chief. Thor Sport, great job for them.
Really good job, guys. Really good job. Really good truck. Thank y'all. Sorry, it was bad. I'm not mad anymore.
He said, sorry, I was mad. I'm not mad anymore. Truck was a little ill handling earlier in the race. Yeah, getting it done.
Yeah, he had some debris on his nose, and the motor was overheating. Wow, so much Regan going on in this race. Rich Lucius, maybe the call of the year.
Absolutely, Michael. That has to be the call of the year. Rich Lucius, the only truck to pit when the caution comes out there towards or way far from the end. You come down pit road. How nervous were you on the box during that?
I guess when you don't bring a good enough truck to the racetrack, you got to do something on strategy-wise. We failed Ben today. We didn't give him a very good truck. He bailed us out at the end there, and it was the only call we had. So we had to do something different than anybody else, and it all worked out. So I guess we're going to Vegas again.
Congratulations. Nice job.
Well done for him. Great moment for that team. And for this one, Grant Enfinger, GMS Racing announced they're going to close the doors, but they're going down swinging, and he has advanced to the championship 4.
You know, that young man is breathing a sigh of relief.
Especially after the penalty earlier in the race, had to battle his way back.
Yeah, lost all his stage points, or the opportunity for stage points in the second stage because of that penalty.
Carson Hocevar does it, gets his 4th win of the season, and he's moving on. He's racing for a championship, Josh.
Carson Hocevar, you didn't have to win to advance to the championship 4, but I'm sure it's sweeter this way.
It's a lot more fun.
What kind of a statement did you set out here today? And I heard you say you were mad earlier, but I'm sure you're much happier now.
I mean, we were so fast. This thing was so good. It kills me. I can't do a burnout. We have to take this motor home or to Phoenix. So good. So I mean, this truck was so good. We got behind on pit stops and just lost track position, which really was unfortunate. But yeah, it's so good to feel. I love winning. I love it. So we just got to win at Phoenix, and for Worldwide Express, Peppers Eyewear. Thank you, Peppers, Polarized Eyewear, Worldwide Express, Nice Motorsports, Al Nice, everybody. Yeah, I was mad. I thought we could win today with our truck, and even with all the setbacks from the debris and everything, we had a shot to win, and we did just that.
Carson Hocevar is going to race for a championship at Phoenix. Regan?
Well, Nick Sanchez comes up 1 point short. Nick, at the end of the race, we saw the contact getting onto pit road. Was that enough to upset this truck as you got to the end?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I lost a lot of time there. I just lost time in the pits trying to fix it. It's just my fault. No two ways to it. Didn't really know the 15 was pitting, and didn't really have enough time I had time to slow down. I just didn't. So it's on me. Apologize to my team and everyone who supports me. And I mean, yeah, to miss by 1 point is pretty rough, but I guess all you can do is go to Phoenix and try to win. But yeah, it's on me.
Thanks, Nick.
What a season it's been for that young man. Rookie year, all that they accomplished, to make it this far and to just miss by 1 point, that's got to sting.
1 point. Such a valiant effort by everyone racing for those 3 spots.
Michael, this is what we've all been talking about, Phil. We've been setting the scene, setting the table. Who would be the championship 4? There they are, Corey Heim, Grant Enfinger, Carson Hocevar, Ben Rhodes. I'm going to put you guys on the spot. Who's the favorite?
I don't know how you don't say Carson.
I really like Corey Heim.
Oh, okay, that's how you don't say Carson. You like Corey Heim.
Well, the winner continues to celebrate, but the agony of defeat, and that is for Zane Smith. Regan?
Well, it appeared Zane Smith had done everything right today. You guys were in the position that you wanted to be at the end of the race. I heard you say on the radio after that last pit stop, it just got really tight. Was that the main thing?
Yeah, I don't, not really sure what happened there. Just was pretty good that run beforehand, and then just got out of nowhere. It was wicked tight, and I don't know what. I feel like we didn't make that big of an adjustment or what, but appreciate Better Health for being a part of this here, and just a bummer. The round of 8 was not good to us. It only takes 1 bad race. Unfortunately, we had 2, and then just 1 spot short today.
Thanks, Zane.
Defending series champion will not have a chance to go for the title again for the first time since he's been in the Truck Series full time. Well, for those of you looking for America's Day at the Races, it's currently airing on FS2 and will follow us here on FS1 when we wrap things up. Did you guys see the side-by-side? He went up in the flag stand. That was something I've never seen before.
I like that.
A young winner, a happy winner. Josh?
Well, unfortunately, Christian Eckes won't have a chance to race for a championship. For you guys, I know you had the penalties today, but what do you see as the difference?
I mean, me making mistakes like this is my first race. Sped on pit road and pulled that line, and yeah, we had a truck able to advance, and just kept making mistakes. But huge thanks to all our partners, Napa Auto Care, Instacoat for coming on these 4 races this year, Gates Hydraulics, Adaptive One Caliper. Just wasn't good enough today, myself, not the truck.
Tough break for Christian Eckes. Regan?
Well, Grant Enfinger, one of these guys that's happy you're going to race for a championship in Phoenix. It was a lot going on today. You had the penalty early on. You guys were able to overcome that. I saw a lot of hugs here. How's this one feel?
Feels great. These guys deserve to be running for a championship at Phoenix. Pretty disappointed in our execution. You can't make mistakes against these guys, and we're blessed to have a second opportunity. Jeff made some great calls on the truck. The truck was as good as it was going to be those last 2 stints. That was all we had. He could have thrown a Hail Mary and maybe we'd have had a shot to win it, but he made the right call to race for a championship. And congratulations to all these guys. Really wanted this for Mike Beam, Maury Gallagher, Ron Booth, everybody at Champion Power Equipment, Jeff Hensley. All these guys deserve to race for a championship, so incredibly blessed and thankful the Lord blessed us with this opportunity, and hopefully we make the most of it in 2 weeks.
Good luck when we get to Phoenix. Thanks, Grant. Josh?
Well, Ty Majeski misses out on a chance to get back to the championship 4. What more did you guys need today?
Yeah, we just missed it a little bit today. We were all over the splitter. Way too hard to be able to attack on restarts and maintain our track position. Long run, we were okay. Just couldn't get going. So lost too much track position and too hard to pass late in the run. But proud of this 98 team. Yeah, I wish we could be competing for a championship in Phoenix, but I see my teammate Ben made it. So good for ThorSport, and all hands on deck these next 2 weeks, trying to prepare 4 fast trucks to go to Phoenix and hopefully bring home a race win and a championship.
Thanks, Ty. Regan?
Well, Ben Rhodes comes down the pit lane with about, some 55 laps to go roughly. What were you thinking when you pitted at that moment in that call from Rich Lucius?
I don't know what to think. To be honest, the whole day was so difficult. I told them I'd never been so on top of the track with a truck with brand new tires. When we pulled off of pit road to start the race, I was like, this is not, I was shaking the truck back and forth. I was like, this is not good. But I didn't tell them that. So I knew we were in for a long day. I just didn't know it was going to be this difficult. But what an absolute blessing to finish where we did. I can't thank him enough for making that call. He's really good at making these calls when it counts. I just wish we weren't in this position so much, right? So we've dealt with this pressure year over year, and every time we've been able to show through yet. So I'm thankful for the effort by the team. We've got to get some speed in this Camper Sin Ford F-150. But what a day. I don't know if I should be happy or mad or sad. I just wore out, to tell you the truth.
1 point to the good when it was all said and done. They told you 2 initially, but it was only 1. As you're getting down to the end of it right there, have you ever driven as hard in your life as you drove those last 20-plus laps?
Well, that was the crazy part, right? Is the closer I got to the wall, it drove a little bit better, but it also drove so bad that I didn't want to get that close. I needed room to catch the truck every single lap, whether it was the front end sliding away from me or the rear. I could never really get into a groove, into a rhythm. I definitely needed the clean air, so I was just praying that whenever lappers got to me, that they would either stay on the bottom or drive away fast, because I couldn't really do what I needed to do with them taking up all the air.
Ben Rhodes will race for a championship in Phoenix, Josh.
And Corey Heim finished 4th today, but he already knew he's going to have a shot at a championship, virtue of that win at Bristol. What's the mindset for you now as you shift your focus to Phoenix, which I'm sure you've already been thinking about?
Yeah, no doubt. Definitely really excited for Phoenix. I've been putting in a lot of hard work and studying into that race. It's going to be the biggest race of my career, so I'm super thankful for Toyota Racing and TRD for putting me in this position. But really thought we had them covered today. I mean, we swept the first 2 stages and really were kind of putt-putting around, just waiting for the 3rd stage, and all of a sudden it kind of went out like a light switch. So we'll look everything over. It's kind of undiagnosed for us, but huge thank you to Chateau Lawn, Explore Brazelton for everything they do. Toyota Racing TRD once again, and Tricon Garage. So of course we got bigger things on the horizon here, so we'll focus on that.
Corey Heim will compete for a championship at Phoenix. Jamie?
That impressive top 10 streak continues for Corey Heim, who finished 4th. Next up, boys, it's the championship weekend from Phoenix.
Remember last year we counted Ben Rhodes out. He wasn't going to make it to the Final Four. He was leading the race late in the race and got turned around. But what a great crew we have going to Phoenix battling for this championship.
And what a great day today was. Man, so much drama.